Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. I'm really excited. Today we have Abigail Tiefenthaler with us from Launches Made Simple. She's a marketing and branding strategist, and I'm really excited to have her on the show today. We're going to talk all things branding and marketing. So welcome, Abigail. How are you
Thank you.
today?
I'm doing well.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I'm 60 years old, so I've got lots of years to share, but I assume that you want to know more about how my marketing, background got started. I grew up in New York City. I grew up the daughter of a madman. My dad was in advertising, worked for
Yeah.
a company called BBD&O. My mother was in marketing until she stopped to make babies. And she started running a home-based business when I was 6 or 7 years old. And a lot of the business came from my dad. So there was a lot of dinner talk around marketing. And when I was in high school, I had a guidance counselor ask me if I was going to college. And I said yes. And he goes, well, what are you going to go to college for? And I looked at him and I said, like, dude, I'm going for marketing. I mean, what else is there? And that was what I had grown up in. That's what I knew. I'd worked at my dad's office on the weekends. I'd worked for my mom's fulfillment business, when I needed extra cash. And I ended up at Pace University in New York City, and it didn't even have a marketing degree in 1979, if you can believe that.
Oh, wow.
That was my third college. Yep, I am a three-time girl.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
I started at one school, quit, went to another school, quit, and then got into Pace University. And so my degree, I have a bachelor's in business administration with an emphasis in marketing. A couple of years later, I went back and got an MBA in strategic management with an emphasis in strategic marketing. So I started my career working in the marketing department of a brokerage house, E.F. Hutton. Then I moved to the agency side. Then after I got my master's, I moved to the client side. I was in product management for a company called Sandoz, which had the X-Lax brand, and then for Mrs. Smith Pies that was owned by Kellogg's. And I was in new product development. So
Oh, awesome.
after I left that, I did work for a direct marketing agency, and then I did work for a package design agency. So I usually say, if you know anybody who has got a more well-rounded view of marketing, I would like to meet them, because I really have touched on almost everything. In 97, I moved to Florida and started a promotional products business, where the reason why I think I did $1 million my second year was because I was able to solve their problems.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings me to about 7 years ago, where I went back to my branding and marketing roots, sold my agency, closed it. And then last year, I had partnered with a woman named Tami Crea. So I live in South Carolina. Tami lives in Minnesota, and we met in Texas. We were actually selling in the back of the room for one of the coaches that we had done contract sales for, campaign sales for over the phone. And we both decided that we wanted to work together. We both understand marketing. We both saw what was going on primarily in the coaching and consulting world and small business owner world. And we felt we could come up with a better solution. And that's how Launches Made Simple was born.
Oh, awesome. Small world. Get to meet people all around. I'm actually in North Carolina, so we're not too far from each other.
That's
Um,
fun.
yeah. So, so tell me, yeah, so you figured out that there'd be a simpler system, and you created a business to do that. So who do you actually work with mostly?
We work with business owners who are looking to leverage their time, their client relationships, how they're investing their money. And we do that basically by offering a very simple marketing system that is perfect for the coach who wants to have something in the $3,000 to $7,000 price range. So it could be a one-on-one client experience. It could be a group program. It could be an offline retreat. It could be a membership program. It can, the delivery of the program isn't as important right this minute as it is identifying how you are going to bring people into your world. And that's where marketing is, right? Marketing is one-way communication that is designed to bring prospects through their own decision-making path to choose you.
Yep.
And the tactical elements of that are most effective when they come from understanding the brand. So in realizing that we wanted to create this very single system, like our goal is go out with one offer, go out with one marketing, approach. And then once that's working, start layering.
Mm-hmm. The power.
Either offer or marketing. The problem with a lot of business owners is that they're trying to put their hands in so many pots that they end up burning the rice, or they forget to put salt in the sauce or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Coaches especially, we are creatives, and we want to help like everybody, and so we start to kind of get scattered. Something I always talk about is making sure that we niche down just for that reason, and we have a specific avatar so that we're not looking at everything we can do. We can look at one piece at a time. But I love how you just said that. I had another guest on here that talked about the power of one, and I just think that's so relevant, that we need to focus in on that one product or one offer and build that out before we start layering in others. So I think that's really great advice there.
Well, and the unfortunate thing is that we're looking at, role models that have been around for years. And so they are naturally on a launch path, or they're on a product offering path where they've got different things that are being done at different times. And most startup, like less than 5-year-old coaches, they're not there.
Yeah.
So they're trying to be the next Tony Robbins, or they're trying to be the next, Ali Brown, or, Brendan Bouchard, or whatever it is. And the problem is that, Ali Brown and Brendan Bouchard started in the same place they're in now. So it's such an unfair comparison to take a look at what other people are doing and saying, I have to do all of that. And we overcomplicate things. That's why we created Launches Made Simple, because it is about simplifying the offer and simplifying the marketing so that you can see, here's the other thing. When you're doing 50 things and something is going wrong, or multiple things are going wrong, you don't know where to go to figure out where the problem is happening.
Right. If it's not working, it's not converting, there's too much going on.
Exactly. There's too many moving parts. So with Launches Made Simple, the marketing funnel is very simple. We can tell when an ad isn't converting. We can tell when an opt-in page isn't converting. We can tell when the webinar isn't converting. We can tell when they're not completing the application. We then even have our clients record a couple of their sales calls, because we're going to go back and say to them, here's some better languaging.
Mm-hmm.
You should be working with our sales trainer, because she's going to be able to help you identify a more confident persona, so that when you show up at the call, you're not begging permission or, compelling and trying to convince people that this is the right thing. Right. We are very confident that our marketing is going to bring you qualified leads.
Yeah.
So now the question is that if you didn't help us really develop the brand, if we didn't spend enough time in the branding space, they aren't going to be qualified leads. And then if you're not converting them on the sales end, there's a problem somewhere with the disconnect. So that's why the system is, an integrated system. We start with the brand, we go to the offer, we then go to the funnel, and then we go to sales. And we are working with our clients and our coaches and consultants all the way through that process.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So So what would you say are the key pieces that a coach needs to know to get to that online offer launch? Is it basically what you just said there, going through that process?
Well, they need to understand the difference between marketing and offers, right? They need to understand, that they 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 need to understand that, first of all, they need a brand. They need to know who they are, what they do, why they do it, who they do it for, why they need it, why they're willing to pay for it. And a lot of coaches want to go from, I just got my certification and now I want to teach or train and I need to sell this program. So they are skipping over that whole branding and marketing process. So those questions have to be answered. And there's, when we work with our clients, we spend 3 weeks on the you is one, there's 40 questions in the you. The who, the ideal client, there's another 30, 40 questions there. And the marketplace, there's another 30, 40 questions there. So all of those answers and all of that conversation and all of that reflection and, consideration is what helps us create a marketing message and what helps us create a position that now we can show up unique. Because your story is a part of it. That's the you part. But your story has to be relatable and relevant.
Absolutely.
Their problem is important, but you have to be able to show how you're solving it in a unique way.
Mm-hmm.
And the marketplace is important because, you have to accept the fact that if you're a life coach, hypothetically, there are a lot of ways that somebody can solve problems to their life. So why you?
Mm-hmm.
Why your technique? Why, why your experience? Like, why you? And so we take them through that process. But here's the kicker. You have to, like, I spend, when I'm working with clients or even when I'm out on social media, you have to have the right mindset. You have to start with the right mindset. I just did a training yesterday on commitment. And the reason why the commitment is so important is because this is hard work. And it's not work that's one and done. It's work that's you do all of the time. Every time you have a new client, you have an opportunity to strengthen your brand. Every time you have a new, experience in the business world, you have an opportunity to strengthen your brand. So your brand isn't something, if you take a look at the NBC Peacock as an example, the logo for the television channel NBC, over the years, it has evolved.
Yeah.
Over the years, McDonald's has evolved. Target has evolved. And it's important to understand that when you have that brand, offer, marketing, sales loop, those pieces in place, you create a feedback loop that's always making you better. Your mindset is what enables you to functionally and effectively use that continuum and evolve that continuum. So, do you have a success mindset or do you have a victim mindset? Where do you sabotage yourself? Where are limiting beliefs or patterns that you've done in the past going to trip you up? Where are you stubborn? You don't think you need a coach, or you don't think you need to understand this technology, or, why are you trying to do all of these things, be all things to all people? Those are mindset issues more than anything else.
Yeah. And again, going back to, coaches, especially right after certification, they want to help everybody do, everything.
Yes.
They want to make change and they're just not really clear on it. And so they just kind of go after everyone. And I think there's a lot of excitement involved in that, as well as the uncertainty. So yeah, just really getting clear on those things and clearing your mindset and being focused in the mindset is really important. So I agree with that totally.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, as far as the emphasis on the branding process, I think some coaches might be confused about that. When we're talking about branding process, we're also talking about, like you said, who you are, who your audience is, the market, and then how you can help them. That's all part of the branding. So when we talk about client, ideal target market, your client avatar, that's all included in that branding process. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. So I always say when you're thinking about your business, you are in branding, and when you are implementing, you are in marketing.
Yeah.
Because marketing is really the tactical representation of the activities you're doing as a result of your brand identification.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there's two things I want to, a lot of people associate, again, branding with your colors and your logo and your name and your tagline. And they are all important things because they're visual and, they're graphic representations, and they're catchy things that people hook up on.
Mm-hmm.
But the deeper part of branding is really the psychographics, the demographics, the regionalities, the psychology behind the buying process, where the pain point really is going to motivate somebody into getting it solved.
Right.
And where if you don't do that research deeply enough and continually enough, you are limiting your ability to market.
Okay. So what would you say would be like a maybe a 1, 2, 3 step process once somebody gets out of training or basically just starts to really look at building a business versus just like coaching?
Just like, right, because I mean, ultimately, if you're looking to build a business, you start with, what are you willing to commit to? What are you willing to sacrifice? So the first thing that I would absolutely look at is the kind of questions of the brand, but on a bigger scale. What kind of business do you want? What kind of clients do you want to work with? I know people who are in the coaching space, and they really like very short-term one-on-one. They don't want to get into 6-month or 1-year relationships with their clients. I know other people who want to work with 6 months because it takes 3 to 4 months to even form a habit. So you have to be able to look yourself in the eye and going, oh my God, if I have to have the next 12 Mondays at 10 o'clock with this person, I'm going to shoot myself. Right?
Yeah.
And you have to be honest, because yes, it's important to work one-on-one. It is the best way to really, get a handle on what it is that you do and how clients need your help and what the results are that actually happen. So a lot of, while coaching group is great, one-on-one is going to give you much more intel on where are you strong, where are you weak, what do your clients need, how are they languaging their pain, and what are the results that you actually can, commit to and create for your clients. So the first thing is really understanding your business, the business you want to create, the business you want to choose, the business you want to design. Do you want to work with 10 clients a year and charge them $10,000 each? Now you have $100,000 business. Do you want to work with 100 clients each and charge them, less? So, because that's going to impact your marketing.
Right.
Right. So the reason why you need to figure that out first is you've got to be able to know what it is you want to do. Do you want to have recurring sources of business? Where do you see, like, if you're working one-on-one with clients, then what happens after that working relationship? Do you plan on putting them into a membership? Do you plan on offering a group program? Do you plan on doing a retreat? Do you plan on doing a deeper level course, with them? Like, how do you see that relationship evolving over time? Is it a one and done? Is it a transactional $10,000? They just bought a car and now they're driving off the lot and you're not going to see them again for the next 3 years, whatever.
Right.
So understanding that about yourself as a person and in creating this business, that's important. Doing that brand work, the second thing you really want to understand is doing that brand work. and going through those the who's in the market, like what is going on, what else is out there, what do you like, what do you not like, where do you think you can be more effective, especially if you've bought programs in the past. What did you like about them? What didn't you like about them? What worked? What didn't work? How do you think you could change them? And asking those strategic questions. Then you want to get into creating the simplest offer that you can create, because there's no reason to sell multiple offers. There's no reason to have a laundry list or, of things, because you're going to confuse the prospect. So what does the client need solved? What is the best and simplest thing you can solve? Because most coaches, when they come out, they need to start making money right away.
Yep.
So I think go in with your strength. If you're a relationship coach and the reason you went into relationship coaching was because you divorced, an abusive man, and you went through a custody battle and, whatever else is going on, then, become that relationship coach and focus on divorced women and who have gone through battles. I mean, you're not the only person that's done it. So use that opportunity, use your personal experience to really get that focus clear. And here's the thing I want to say, because so many people talk about niching and avatars and whatnot. I am not telling you, you do not have to market to 50 other different people. I am just simply saying, market to one person at a time.
Yes.
And the best analogy to that is that you have a horse stable. You've got 6 different horses that are in your barn. You cannot ride all 6 at one time.
Right.
You take one horse out, you ride it, you work it out, do whatever, you put that horse back in the barn, you bring another horse out. Right. So my suggestion, and again, this is why the whole simple concept is so important to Tami and to me, is that we start with something. And then what we do is we layer on top of it. You might go to another audience, you might go to a deeper level course. Traditionally, when I say you have one offer, that offer should be the foundation of 3 offers. So you want to create an offer that has the ability to grow up and be more expensive. You have the opportunity to shrink down a little and be less expensive, so that when you're on the phone with the client or prospect, you can say to them, this is the program, you talk a little bit about, it's a group environment, you're going to be doing this, it's going to take place over 12 weeks. You talk about some of the specifics of it. And if somebody says, well, I want more one-on-one time, how much one-on-one time am I going to have with you? Oh, we can do that. And that is price plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or, you know what, I don't have that, that's out of my budget, I really don't need a group program, blah, blah, blah. We can do that cost minus.
Right.
So if you had, something in the $1,500, $2,000 range, something in the 5s to 7, and something in the 10 to 15, you're basically offering the same course, right? You're taking them through the same journey, just with different type of tour guides, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's more about the value add, like the time that you can increase time with clients, you can decrease time with clients to try to meet their needs as well as your own.
Yeah. And it really is a matter of what is their need? What are they looking to solve right away?
Mm-hmm.
How quickly do they want to move? How much support do they feel they need? You don't go in selling the $15,000 product every single time, because a lot of times people don't need that. If you're asking your questions in that strategy session, that's going to lead you to say, oh, she's not going to get anything out of the group coaching. Or you look at it and go, she's really looking for community. This group program is going to be what's best for her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying it's one real simple offer that you can up or down sell. It's one simple marketing funnel, and our funnel is very simple. There's nothing proprietary about it. It is just the way we do it, and we stay with you until it is proving its worth. We don't say, oh, well, the 6 months is up. We don't say, well, you bought this package and you've had your 4 phone calls or whatever. we're there with you. We are invested in your success.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
so I would say the first thing is really understanding all that strategy and getting focused.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is committing to a path, committing to an offer path and committing to a marketing path. And then the third is really understanding what's happening when you're in the sales conversation so that you can go and make tweaks in your funnel. You might go and make tweaks in your target audience.
Okay.
Does that help? Does that?
Yeah. So definitely, well, we have to tweak our message, I think, a lot anyway, messaging in the beginning, because like you said, it's, um, although we're getting focused in, we are experimenting, right? We're trying to
Yes,
find our voice as well.
exactly. And all marketing is research.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there isn't anybody that won't deny, I don't want to say it's a crapshoot because it's much more calculated than that. But if you don't have the metrics, if you don't put in analytics into it, if you're not working with somebody who can really say, the client keeps on referring to the concept of he's dining out and you're using we're eating out,
Right.
there's a disconnect. And there's so much noise on social media and on the internet in offline today that when you give a prospect an ounce of wiggle room to be confused, they really are just going to go next.
Yep. Yeah. So definitely language is a big part of it, and something that I think most training tries to address anyway for coaching, that we want to make sure that we're using the language of our ideal client, because we can't speak to everyone. And so
Right.
the language has to be very specific to the people that we want to attract and work with.
The best way I can describe this and the critical importance of it, and I use this as a story, is, I go out with my girlfriends on Friday night and I have a grand old time. So Saturday morning, I'm at the breakfast table and, my husband goes, "Oh, how was dinner? How was your night out with the girls?" And I might say, "Oh, it was fine." And I might tell them one story. And then my 7-year-old daughter looks at me and she goes, "Mommy, how was it seeing so-and-so or so-and-so?" And I might tell her a slightly different story, maybe something a little more G-rated. And then I have a conversation with one of my besties who wasn't able to join us. That conversation is going to be entirely different. So I haven't told lies. They've all been truths over what happened. But what I tell my husband and what I tell my child and what I tell my girlfriend are going to be different versions of that same story, different language, different events, so it's really important to understand who you're talking to for that reason alone.
Yeah, that all makes perfect sense. I think that's good reasoning as well. Like, it kind of just makes sense. It's a process that we all have to go through. And I think when we bring it to and also when we look at it in the way that you just described it, we're able to make it make sense in our head, right? Because marketing, I think a lot of coaches think marketing is this big cloud and they have to try to work through the cloud, and it can become very overwhelming. And
Right.
yeah, and I love that you've kind of broken down the different steps, especially the branding piece, as being our voice, as being looking at how we're serving people, in addition to, yeah, you have to have your look, your style has to be involved in there as well. But definitely the other pieces I think are really important as part of the branding process and the product process as
Right.
well.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's the thing. I mean, marketing has its process as well. And
Mm-hmm.
its process is really made up of 3 pieces. So the first is the creative, and that's the content, right? That's the graphics. What are you saying and how are you saying it and where are you saying it? And the second, in today's world, it's the technology, it's the connectivity. Because once you know what funnel you want to build, what marketing activity stream you want to create, because that's going to affect the type of content you create. But you have to be able to figure out, well, what are the elements that I need to make this stream work, you know? And so the connectivity in this day and age includes the, you know, the advertising or the organic marketing. You know, are you going fast? It's advertising, paid ads, plain and simple. I don't care where you are in your business building. Although most coaches will say, don't do it if you have less than $100,000 business. I disagree with that vehemently. You know, the second path is organic, and organic is a slow path to growth. I don't care if you're on, you know, online 24/7. I know one of the best online marketers I know, you know, she's worked her butt off over the last year, and she has barely 3,000 people in her group. And when she went to sell, because she was convinced she could sell without using any paid ads, and she doesn't have an email list because she believes everything can be done online, she only had 15 people come into a $600 program. And she offered an 8-week free masterclass in between. So she was selling within her group of 3,000. You know, she was marketing in her group of 3,000 to do it, offering an 8-week course, which was very comprehensive, selling into a $600 product, and she had 15 people. So as far as I'm concerned, organic is great. There's summits, there's challenges, there's groups and all of that, but they take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And, you know, so if you decide you are going to do that free organic path, you need a whole lot of content.
Yes.
To make it over that time. If you're going to do the paid path, you're now, okay, so they're paid, it's a paid ad into what? You know, a landing page. What are you offering? Maybe a tripwire. You know, are you doing a long form sales page where people can sign up automatically? You know, or are you sending them into a strategy session, which I think is more effective, because now you can sell a $3,000 to $5,000 product versus nobody that I know of buys $5,000 products on a long form sales page.
Yeah, no, there's definitely have the conversation, have to walk through a couple.
Yeah, especially if you haven't spent the last 3 years on social media trying to build an audience.
Right.
So
well, and
now,
a lot of what we do is the long game too. Like it really, you know, it's a mental, I think that's a mental shift that we have to make, is that in the beginning, we are looking towards the long game. Like what we're doing now is potentially a year or two out going to be see the benefits of it. And I think that that's misunderstood a lot with coaches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's, you know, the other thing is where coaches decide to invest their money. I mean, let's take a yoga coach as an example. So that yoga coach just got their certification. They're looking to create an online yoga membership, but they have to wait until they have the certification to do it. Well, if it's going to take a minimum of 3 to 6 months, whether even on paid ads, even on taking that faster route, you should be doing it before you're certified.
Right.
Like there's no reason to not to overlap it. So when you're trying to decide where to invest money, and well, I can go get a 500 level 500 hour certification, or I can invest $5,000 or $10,000 in my business building. You can't compare them as apples to apples. One is you're buying foods for breakfast, and the other is you're buying foods for dessert. You know, they're two entirely different concepts, and a lot of coaches don't understand that. And there does come a time when you don't, stop learning and start implementing.
Right.
So those are some of the messages, and that's again where we go back to the mindset. Like, you're never going to be perfect, so get started. And the faster you get started, you may realize that I didn't need a 500-hour certification. I mean, it's nice to have, and I did it for my own self and my own body and my own soul and mind, as well as I did it to be able to be a better yoga teacher to a um, to a client. But here's the thing: if I had taken that year to build my $100,000 business, that $5,000 certification program would have hurt a lot less
Yeah.
because I had the money.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
I think it really depends on your goals too as a coach, because I mean, yoga is different, I think is a little bit different, but like for instance, if you're an ICF coach, well, you have to do the training, but there's different types of training you can do. You definitely don't have to go for those year-long programs to get started. And I firmly believe that you can start with the smaller program and get your business going and then go for your bigger certifications or credentials. There's definitely a path there that people can, just take a look at and say, hey, I don't need all this to make me feel like, you said it's a mindset. Absolutely. To make me feel
right,
like I'm able to do this. It's
right.
not
And in reality, you don't even need a certification to be a coach. I mean, I know there's a lot of coaches out there that are probably cringing at that thought. But at the same time, if you are going to end up being in a let's say you become a relationship coach, you're really starting off with your own personal experience. And your ability to get clients is going to be based on how you tell your story and what happened at the end of your story and how your story can inspire others. Where coaching is really important is that it does give you, the ability to ask questions. It gives you the ability to structure programs. It gives you the ability to understand the bigger picture of turning a skill you may have, and an intuitive skill at that, into a more professional thing. But unlike a teacher or a nurse or a hairdresser who, that needs a license to practice, coaches don't need licenses.
Yeah, and that's definitely a controversial thing. We, as credentialed and certified coaches, we kind of look at the ones that aren't certified and say, hey, there is a process here to help us. At some point, there's going to be licensing. We feel that's coming. So the certifications help. And then on the other side, people say, yeah, I have the experience, so I shouldn't have to get, a certification. So that's definitely a controversial topic. So,
Right.
but just in general, I don't think it matters if you're certified or not. I think just in general, it matters that you do look at, what experience do you have? What skills, really, talents can you draw on? And if you are a person that, wants to get that certification, just understand that that's not what makes you able to build a business. It might enhance it, and definitely there's a lot of pros to it, but really, it's like you said, it's your mindset, it's your skill and talents. I mean, if you look at if you look at an ideal client avatar, typically it's a previous version of yourself. So
Right.
if you can help, if you've been through it and you can help people that were where you once were, then a certification can help you give the tools to it, but it's not going to give you that experience.
No, and I'm certainly not saying don't go get certified. Where um, uh, I think what I'm trying to really point out is that you don't have to have the highest level of
Yeah.
certification to get
Mhm.
started.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I know that some people wind up being like lifelong learners, or not lifelong learners, but like the lifelong student that's continually, feeling like they have to get certification after certification or credential after credential. And yeah, that's just not
Right.
true. It's not what's going to make your business
It's
successful.
That's what it is. It's not it's not an instant path to success, because you still have to do all of the business parts of it
Right.
to build the business.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, awesome. You've given us so much information. I hope everybody's taken notes. I'm going to have to actually listen back to take notes myself. But you talked about some things that I think kind of make you a little bit different as far as other funnel building companies. Can you just quickly tell us, what does make you stand out from other ones?
Well, I think the first thing is, we're two women. Both of us have 35 years of business experience and marketing experience specifically. And so there's a lot of, male energy in the funnel building world. And
Mhm.
we would like to believe that we bring a softer touch to the relationship, not necessarily to the outcome, because we're going to be as assertive as and aggressive as, anybody else out there. But we do want to hold you accountable. We want to have, we want to be the Ritz-Carlton of service and provide you with the best experience. We have the ability. We're not linear, we're not digital marketers. We are marketing strategists, both of us. So we are looking at what the best route is for you as the client. And we are giving you that confidence and support along the way. Other funnel building agencies really start at building the funnel, right? Where we start at investigating the brand conversation and the offer conversation, and then taking it all the way through the sales process. And finally, I mean, we offer a guarantee. It is, our coach cringes every time one of us uses that word, but we offer a guarantee because we are going to stay with you until that funnel is productive.
Right. Awesome. And I think that does make you stand out way, way more than I've seen other agencies as well, having that type of a guarantee. So that's
Right.
awesome.
Right.
And kind of what and you have a freebie for our audience as well, right? For
Yeah,
launching.
it's launchesmadesimple.com/free gift. And it just shows you our process, our funnel building process, which is super simple. It's a Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube. It's platform agnostic, but it's an ad to a landing page to a 30-minute webinar, a webinar to a strategy session. And you have to fill out an application form before you come to the strategy session. We include an indoctrination video so that the strategy session is really all about the client. The client knows they are coming in to have a business and an investment conversation. So you get no tire kickers or, free coaching, gremlins. I mean, you really are focused on, is this the right next step for you? Do you want to do it on your own, or do you want somebody to help you? And if you want somebody to help you, that might be us. Let's get on a call. We lay email marketing as a part of it, and we've been very successful with our emails. We had one client come in after the 38th email. She said, I think I know you. I feel like I know you after these emails. So, that's the system. And then the loop is where do we tweak? Where are people falling off? So we do a lot of analytics around that process that we build for our clients.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Abigail, do you have kind of a last word for our audience?
Flipping the switch, going from being a coach, from a coach who coaches to a coach who has a business, will change everything.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with it so much. Even this podcast is called, mastering your coaching business. It's not about the coaching process so much as mastering the business side of it, because that's really the tough part, I think.
It is. And
coaches.
we all struggle through it. I've been a solopreneur for 23 years, and we all struggle through it. But it has to be done. And once it's done, it is so freeing, putting structures and systems in place. And, even though that's not a part of our linear stream, our marketing stream, we want to work with clients to say, why are you doing this? We want to help with the onboarding. We want to help with how do you streamline the process? Because that's where the freedom comes from. That's where your time freedom, that's where you get to leverage, various pieces of your business and really create a business by choice and design, as opposed to circumstance and default.
Right.
So
awesome. Well, thank you so much today for your time, Abigail. Everybody listening, again, I hope you've been taking notes. If not, re-listen, take those notes. Lots of great information here from Abigail, and you can reach her from on her website, which is launchesmadesimple.com. Sorry, getting tongue tied. And the link to her free gift will be in the show notes. That's launchesmadesimple.com/free gift. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much, Abigail.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.